get to it, man. I mentioned this in the intro. The Pac-12 for some reason is having a lot of trouble securing this media deal. I mean, I don't know what the hell is going on, dude. I mean, there's talk about expansion with the likes of San Diego State and SMU. Are you kidding me?
I mean,
and that lets you know how hard, how hard it is for them to get a damn media deal because they're not going to do it with the 10 teams. So you tell me, man, what the hell do you think is going on? Are we looking at the final days of the Pac-12?
Yeah, I think those days are numbered. I mean, okay, so they can't get a media deal, right?
Right.
So USC, UCLA, are they officially part of the Big 12, or did that fall through?
Well, Big 10. Yeah,
Big 10.
Big 10 next year.
So they'll be in the Big 10 next year.
Right.
What's left?
You got the corner schools, they call it. Both Arizona schools, Arizona State, Utah, Colorado.
Those mark. I mean,
Washington and Oregon. Stanford. Yeah, you go. Stanford, Cal, and the immortal Washington and Oregon states. So there you have it. With the possibility of adding San Diego State and SMU. Wow.
That's a that's something to write home about, right? And San Diego State and SMU. I mean, it's kind of like they're struggling to find somebody just to fill those spots, right?
It's crazy. I mean,
I don't see how they last. I mean, I can see the Big 12 making a play for Arizona State, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly Colorado, possibly Utah. But I think that the conference as we knew it. I mean, I think I felt this when USC and UCLA decided to leave the conference. It was going to kind of be the same thing. I think they're in a better position than I think the Big 12 is in a better position than the Pac-12 is.
You know what? That is very true because what your boy Brett Yormark did, new commissioner of the Big 12, he went a year early. He's like, look, I'm not going to wait till we're a lame duck year. I'm going to do this shit early. And props to him for having the foresight because that's what happens when you get a guy from outside of college athletics who doesn't have the pettiness, doesn't have to kowtow to any schools because he's from the Jay-Z brand. He's from Rock Nation.
Yeah,
he's a businessman. He's a businessman, right? So,
which ultimately this is about, right?
Yeah, and he did a hell of a job securing what he did. We could for the Big 12 without Oklahoma and Texas.
Yeah,
all those schools still going to get 30 or 31 mil per season for 5 years. With a chance to re-up.
Right.
So he did a hell of a job, man.
Yeah. With the circumstances, I think he did.
Yeah. And with this clown at the Pac-12, I can't pronounce his last name, so I'm just gonna call him a clown.
That's the best way you can say it is to call him a clown,
How about he thought that these teams are gonna get over 40 mil?
Yeah, but what made him think that?
He's a clown. He thought he could get that without the LA schools. Are you serious? Are you serious?
No,
that's they don't even have a major carrier the Pac-12 network, which is I heard is bad anyway.
Yeah, but even you think about so he thinks that they're worth 40 million per school for the 10 schools they have, and you don't have the LA market, and you don't have the LA market. I don't see how he figured that was possible.
No. But how about this? I have a wild rumor. I have a wild realignment scenario for you. Ready for it?
What's that?
I think the conference that many people are talking about because their deal's now up for another 50 years is ACC. I bet they're gonna go and holler. How about this for Washington? They'll go holler at Washington and Oregon. Try to get those markets in Seattle and Portland. Maybe holler at the Arizona schools, say, look, you saw what your boys, USC and UCLA did to you. Let's make this thing a power 3 and let's go. Now, I don't know if they're able to do that, but that's a wild scenario.
That's a yeah, that is a wild scenario. I guess the thing that I always I wonder, especially with the schools that aren't geographically located to one another,
Right,
is travel.
right,
And I know that yeah, football schools, yeah, but there are other sports besides. I mean, there are a lot of sports on campuses that aren't, um, that aren't making a profit.
true. It's facts, straight
So
facts.
when you have, we'll just use the ACC scenario. Let's say you're talking about Washington, and I'm just going to use the you know North Carolina, South Carolina, Clemson,
Yeah,
UNC, North
yep,
Carolina State.
right,
So that's a lot of travel, man.
right,
Now you're talking about by everything's by plane, and you can't drive to any of these schools.
nope. You can't drive from Raleigh, North Carolina to like Corvallis, Oregon. No, not Corvallis,
No,
but Bend, Oregon, or
right,
Seattle, Washington. Yeah, that's crazy talk.
exactly. So
But that's what the Big
even
Ten is going to happen with the USC
right,
and the UCLA. So,
yeah. When you talk about those, games that are played, yeah, yeah. I mean, traveling to, California or to Big Ten country. That's a. I don't know if anybody really. I mean, I know they're thinking about, okay, well, this is what the deal is, and this is how much the deal is worth. But you have a lot of expenses in travel. Your travel when you don't
right,
have states that are connected to one another.
right,
I think it makes sense for. Um, I mean, even looking at the SEC, right? You have the Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, um, Tennessee, Louisiana, um, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Kentucky. Those
mhm,
states all, they all connect to one another in some way, right?
right. That's
And
correct.
and it's not the team. It's not football, because obviously football um, will always travel in style.
Right. Facts.
uh, because obviously they're they are paying the bills.
Correct. Facts.
And I
Straight
you know
facts.
I was thinking about um, even when I was thinking about, like, travel wise, and you're talking about a team like Alabama, which is kind of, in terms of the SEC, is kind of centrally located,
Right.
obviously,
Right.
in terms of footprint for the most part. But yet, Texas is, you got Texas there. And as I said, all these states kind of, touch one another in some way. But it isn't, it's okay. How do you got a baseball team, traveling to, Oklahoma for a game, to Norman, Oklahoma for a game, or
Right.
you know, it's those lower tier sports, in terms of, and I'm just using the word lower tier, not in terms of their importance, but just in terms of their revenue draw.
Yeah.
You
I feel
know,
you. Yeah. And that's the thing, which is why I think, man, a more likely scenario is the Big 12 will be waiting to snap up at least 4 of those schools in the Pac-12.
mm,
I think that what's going to come down to, dude, because at first I was among the idea that with the playoff expansion, the college football playoff expansion, the 12 teams, that I thought that maybe Oregon and Washington would be cool with being big fish in a small ass pond, because
mm,
that they have bigger access. They were not guaranteed access
mm,
because they take the
mm,
top 6 conference champs, but
right,
they have better access, right?
right,
And with the obviously the opportunity of a group of 5 school getting in there. But the point is that I thought
yeah,
that they'd be cool with that. But with the number of figures that have been thrown out, to possibly having to go the streaming route exclusively, I don't know if that would sit well Oregon and Washington. I don't know if it sit well to Arizona schools, to be honest with you. So to me, I think the Big 12 commissioner is playing a waiting game. I think that maybe the ACC from afar is playing a waiting game, but mainly it's the Big 12. All eyes on the Big 12 right now. Because the Big 12 gets those 4 corner schools, so-called corner schools, it's a wrap.
Yeah. I mean, that's a more likely scenario for the Big 12 to get those schools than I think anybody else. I just don't see Pac-12 being viable long term as viability. I don't know. You know, maybe something may happen to surprise me, but I just don't see it happening. And I'm thinking back, I'm like, what could they have done differently to be in the driver's
Yeah.
seat versus, because obviously the SEC was the first school to really like, hey, we're gonna grab. Really started with SEC grabbing Texas A&M and Missouri, right?
Right. Back in the day, yeah, way back
And
when.
then things kind of moved a little bit, and then hey, they made a play for Oklahoma and Texas, and it's kind of like ever since then everybody was in reaction mode.
Right. Because you want to be proactive, not reactive, right? That's what everybody's scrambled with, and even the Big 10 was in reactive mode.
Yeah, I wouldn't say in terms of when the dominoes started to fall, obviously the SEC was out in front. The Big 10, they did what they did. I know the ACC's kind of stayed, kind of didn't have to do much, but they really need to, the ACC. But the ACC made their power move. The Big 10, they made a power move, obviously. And I think the Big 12 kind of reacted to that, but I think they made the best move that they could based on the situation.
They sure did. They sure did. You couldn't ask for it because they got the brand in BYU. Say what you want about BYU, but that's BYU's brand. They got Houston. They got
that's a huge market. I mean, you still got a big chunk of the Texas market.
Yes, it is, and they got Cincinnati. They got UCF from Florida, from Florida. So they got Florida boys coming in now. So they did the best that they could. I don't think they're done. To your point, I don't think the Big 12 is close to being done. They're playing a waiting game right now. I think they're waiting on the Pac-12 to fall even more over themselves and continue getting their own way of this.
And with this last, 400 million, 10 schools.
Yeah.
I just think their days. I think they miscalculated.
Severely
miscalculated.